Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boisterous coming to you with some Diamond League destruction out of the Tal'Darim altar. Up here in the top left-hand corner, we have karMAzasz spawning in as the red Zerg, and down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent Doofprush spawning in as the I'm sorry, he's the blue Terran, but I don't understand his name. Doofprush, Poofdush, Poofdrush. Doofprush? Okay, well, at least I kind of understand this guy's name. I think Zaz was a Cerebrit from Brood War. Man, I am not good with names today. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that Zaz was a Cerebrit from Brood War. Just my random guess on what this guy's name is. I think it's just an homage to him. Because Zaz was definitely the most badass Cerebrit. I think everybody will agree with me on that one. And if you disagree, well, it's your decision. I will allow it. And we do have both players going for fairly standard builds. We have Doofprush walling off and his front. Or, well, not really his, yeah, this is his front. Sure, why not? He's walling out outside his natural. He's going to be going for a fast expand build, most likely. Which is extremely common on this map, especially against Zerg, because most Zergs go for this kind of fast expand as well, especially if they see their opponent going for a fast expand, then they're just extremely confident. But Zaz is going for the fast expand without even scouting the front of his opponent, because honestly this is one of those maps that you don't really get any bonus from not fast expanding, because this is a really wide choke and there's no ramp, so if your opponent gets ranged units, you're kind of screwed anyway. So it's just one of those maps where you don't lose anything by fast expanding. It's kind of like Shakur's Plateau, where you have a ramp on your second tier, so you also, you don't lose anything, because they still can't shoot up that ramp for the most part, if you defend it well enough. And we have karMAzasz going for his spawning pool at 16 supply, so I think that was like a 15 hatch 16 pool, which is one of the slower pool builds in the game. It's definitely a risky play, but again, on a map like Tal'Darim, I think it works out most of the time. At least 9 times out of 10, you will be perfectly fine with going for that sort of really fast expand, especially if you're above the Bronze League, where everybody's cannon rushing and 2-raxing and all that crazy stuff, just trying to get out of it. And we do have the hatch just about to finish up, and the command center still hasn't gone down for our Terran player. He's actually going to get a tech lab on top of this barracks, and he is bunker rushing at the front, and this is annoying, I guess. There's no units up. There's the Marine running up, because there was no units up until that Marine got ready to go, and I think this bunker is actually going to be severely damaged if it even finishes. Is the SCV gonna finish it? The SCV just barely doesn't finish it, which is pretty bad. It looks like the SCV is going to get pulled off, and the other SCV is going to manage to finish it, and is the Marine barely gets in. That's not good for our Terran player. We have the SCV over here trying to repair it, but the SCV is going to get taken out by this drone. So far we have the actually, I think that Zerg is going to get out of this ahead. Yeah, they both only lost 2 workers, and the Zerg the Terran lost more resources in units. So that was a complete flop by the Terran player going for that bunker rush that early, and without any units to back it up at first. And it was not well executed from our Terran player. We have a Reaper follow up. That's not good. That's not going to work well. We have this Reaper microing these 2 Zerglings. These Zerglings are definitely going to have to run away or die. As this Reaper, I'm guessing, is going to return back to the Watchtower. But yeah, that was not a good play out of our Terran buddy down here. Not the most intelligent thing I've ever seen. He's going to try to hop up here with these Reapers, but the Queen is in position to deny them. And there's one Reaper. They barely get a kill there. Oh, that Reaper, so lucky. God, that Reaper is so close to death. We do have the Spine Crawler getting ready for the Pokey Pokes down at the front. It's going to easily be able to cover off like this ramp area and defend this mineral line. However, run bias would still be an issue by Marines or something like that. But considering the fact that there's only one barracks out and it's not researching anything out of the Tech Lab, I doubt he's going for barracks plays, especially because he's getting that factory out. He might actually be going for like Starport. I think he might be going for Mech right now, because Mech is actually a pretty considerable force against Zerg players currently, just because nobody really knows how to deal with it amazingly well. It was something that used to be really popular and then kind of fell out of style as people realized that Marines were essentially God mode. But I see it coming up a lot more recently, where Terrans are going for this kind of like heavy mech play against Zergs, and I'm just guessing that's heavy mech because he got the Tech Lab and he's building his siege tanks, and he's still only making Marines out of a Tech Lab factory, and that's the only factory he has. So it looks like mech. That's basically it. He's actually turtling up amazingly hard right now. Kind of interesting. I don't know why he's turtling up like this. This bunker at the front doesn't really need to be here, especially with siege tanks. With siege mode on the way, you don't. And he's actually building a second bunker. That's, again, unneeded. That is an unnecessary defensive maneuver. Mainly because these siege tanks are pumping out right now, and siege tanks are amazing at holding lines. And by amazing, I mean really, really good at holding the line against stuff. We have a Spire coming out from our Zerg player over here. It is just about got started. We have +1 melee attacks and another Evo Chamber on the way. He's getting his speed for his Baneling. So this Zerg player is going fairly, just everywhere, all over the place in his tech. It looks like he's going to get ready for a Mutiling Bling. But this double Evo Chamber is kind of interesting for that kind of play, because usually you want to conserve a lot of gas for your Mutalisks so that you can get, a huge cloud out. Because otherwise, it's kind of hard to do damage with them, really. Once you get up to the point where you have like 6-ish or so Mutalisks, then you can start, just flying in and one-shotting 2 workers at a time. But up until then, you're not that scary of a player. I mean, your Mutalisks just are not nearly as frightening as they can be. So I'm again very surprised to see him going for this double Evo play. It makes me kind of think that he's going to be going way heavier on the Zerglings and the Banelings than on the Mutalisks department of this play. And he's actually getting his 3rd down at the same time, so very safely. The Terran player, I can't believe I missed this. God, I'm so bad. The Terran player actually took a secret 3rd down in the bottom right hand corner. Wow, that is secret. Damn. Huh. All right. Well, we have the Terran player going for a really absurd build, to be honest. This is one of the chanciest things I've ever seen. Well, not the chanciest, because the chanciest would be like taking a really fast 3rd right here. This is just one of those, like, it's like going for Dark Templar or any sort of those really cheesy all-in cloak banshees, so just 2-port banshees build, where you're kind of just sitting there and you cross your fingers and you're like, please God, let it happen, just let it happen. However, at the same time, I really like this play because it allows him to offload all of his mules down into this bottom right-hand corner, which means his main base is going to get mined out a lot slower than it normally would, which allows him to kind of stay on that 2-base position a lot longer, despite the fact that he's being Terran, and Terran, Terran basically mine out their bases the fastest out of any of the 3 races, just because of the fact that mules can overtake the worker saturation. So instead of the 24, I think it is, workers that can be working on mineral patches from the other 2 races, they can have essentially infinite, because mules can work no matter what. They don't care how many other workers are posted at a mineral field. At the same time, we have karMAzasz going for his queens and his infestation pit and roachwarren. So he did see this really heavy mech play coming out from his opponent, the Terran player, and actually, oh, okay, the Tech Lab just got sniped. I was like, what the hell? How did that happen? But yeah, the Tech Lab was sniped, so that's why the siege tank was building with that Tech Lab. I still think it would be kind of interesting if Blizzard implemented it so that, like, Terran things, they got their attachments destroyed, like, they just stopped production. I mean, I know it would be ridiculously imbalanced, because it would make Terran things that require attachments suck, but I think it would be kind of funny. We have these Mulisks kind of flying around trying to find a spot where they can get purchased into the opponent's base. However, they are not going to find it. This is a ridiculously turtled position for our Terran player. I'm surprised he's not just trying to ninja off some of those Mulisks or even bust through here, because I think he could bust down here. And if he can get some Zerglings into these bunkers, he's set. If he can destroy these bunkers, he can essentially win the game. Just because these bunkers are basically the only thing that's preventing these Mutalisks from flying in, and especially with this supply depot down, I think he should go for some sort of attack here. He has a much more macroable position where he can kind of throw away those units and get away with it. I think that he missed a huge opportunity there. If he had gone for that and managed to bust out this front, and because he only really needed to kill this bunker was definitely the most dangerous one, and then his Mutalisks could fly in, clean up the siege tanks, and then his Zerglings would basically just get free reign of the base, because once you clean up some of these siege tanks, 2 of them, then your Zerglings can basically just run in without any danger at all. But again, huge miss for our Zerg player. He is going to up to Hive Tech, so I'd expect to see some Broodlords just purely because he already has the Spire down. However, just because he's been going for these kind of melee upgrades, I guess he could also go Ultralisks. I think Ultralisks are the better solution to mech in my mind, just because the Broodlords are really easily hard countered. It's extremely easy to get Vikings and completely destroy Broodlords. 5-3 Ultralisks are much harder to counter. I mean, siege tanks, again, do an awesome job at countering 5-3 Ultralisks. So do Thors. Thors are not bad at it. However, it's, they're huge, they're scary. And if you can get like 12 and you catch the opponent's forces unsieged, you're basically going to win the game. And even sieged, I mean, those things can, those are the siege breaker units of the Zerg forces, and he's grouping up his Mutalisks. Oh god, those Mutalisks. They must be so scared right now. Man, that was way too close. One of them gets away with 3 health, and I think that was actually more like 1 health when that Thor last took a shot at him. He's just been regenerating health since then. We do have the Greater Spire, so it is going to be Broodlords. We can also tell because of the Corruptors that are popping out right now. And he's actually going for +2/+2 still. That's kind of strange. Again, I would have expected him to go much heavier into either air upgrades or ranged upgrades or something else, because he's not going to want Zerglings in his army comp for that long. He's going to want Broodlord Roach and Infestor, and that's basically going to be what he wants for an army. Come the time where he's actually fighting this, very intimidating Terran force, it's not going to turn out well for him if he keeps on with these with Zerglings and Roaches, because Zerglings are amazingly good against Thors, but they suck against siege tanks. Roaches, on the other hand, are actually kind of good against both units. They can take a few siege tank hits. And if you can get your Broodlords into a good enough position where they can snipe off like 2 or 3 siege tanks and get the back ones firing at the Broodlings and killing more siege tanks for you, then you can swing around with your Roaches from the opposite side and just start wiping out Thors. And that's really what you need. Either that, or you can burrow underground with your Roaches and kind of cross your fingers and pray to God that he doesn't scan. Because if he scans, you're screwed. We actually have the Terran force moving out. This is a very pivotal moment for the Zerg player. The Zerg player really, I feel, needs to pull back and wait for Broodlords. He needs these Broodlords to engage the army. Why are his Broodlords morphing in over here? This is not where you need Broodlords. You need Broodlords over here. No, cancel him. Cancel him. Oh god, he is so screwed. Oh, and he's engaging with this army. Oh god, that is such a blunder. You should not be doing this. This is an awful idea. There's way too many Thors, there's way too many siege tanks, there's way too many Hellions for him to engage without the support of his Broodlord forces, and he gets absolutely wrecked. Oh god, that was not what he wanted to happen. I mean, he's coming in here with his Broodlords, but it don't matter. It just doesn't matter. I mean, this is really the worst thing he could be doing right now. He should pull his Broodlords back. He should be working on remacroing and just, crossing his fingers and praying to God. Because right now, the starports are already started. There's 4 starports on the way. That is awful for our Zerg player currently. these Thors counter Broodlords well enough. The starports are just going to make it, impossible. These Broodlords are basically never going to do damage again in this game. And he really needs these Broodlords to do some damage. He needs to switch over to Ultralisks right now, I think. He cannot afford to keep going how he's going right now. He needs he needs something else other than these Broodlords that he's been, so preoccupied with making. He really needs to get to break out, get those Ultralisks up to 5/3 Ultras, and kind of cross his fingers and hope that the Terran forces don't attack him, because he's at a huge disadvantage just from the way that their tech is played out, plus the fact that the Terran is on even basis because he decided to take, a second hidden expansion down here that I just, didn't even want to cover, because it's just not good for our Zerg player. Oh god, Zerg is so bad. It's just so screwed right now. Our Zerg player, I don't know how he's going to even try to get out of that, because these siege tanks are scary, and these Thors are scary, and these Hellions are scary. Basically everything's scary right now, and that's not where he wants to be. He wants everything to be perfectly calm, and yeah, he's not doing well. He is not doing well. I don't know what he's trying to do at this point. I mean, he's going for adrenal glands, but again, Zerglings, it don't matter if you have 3/3 Zerglings with adrenal glands. These 9 siege tanks, when they're sieged, are going to decimate them, like, without question, and he's going for the wrong thing. Zerglings are at least better than Banelings. You don't want Banelings in a situation like this. First of all, because you're facing armored, not light. There's, the Hellions in this army are light, and I think that's it. Second of all, these units are so large that the Baneling splash doesn't splash over that much. And third, Zerglings are just better. They do way more damage, especially when they have 3/3, especially against this unit comp. And it's not what he needs at all. And we have the Vikings coming out from our opponent. I think that's just going to be the last nail he needs to finally pin this coffin closed on the Zerg player, because the Zerg player is trying to go for Corruptors. He's trying to get those Broodlords again, but he don't need those Broodlords. He needs Ultralisks. I feel like if he was getting Ultralisks, he might have a shot. Not a huge shot, but a shot. But with this kind of like roach comp that's actually just going to suicide into the opponent and really nothing else, I don't know if there's going to be anything he can do against this army. He has quite a few roaches, but these are very scary Thors still, and these roaches have no upgrades at all. I don't know why he was so focused on going for Zerglings. He really needed something other than Zerglings, and I'd be amazed to see him stay in this game any longer. We have 11 Mutalisks coming in. I'm not quite sure what Mutalisks are supposed to do against this composition. It's way too Thor heavy for Mutalisks to be able to be cost efficient. Despite how well Mutalisks are actually, Mutalisks are actually pretty nice counters to mech. However, he needs Ultralisks. He needs Ultralisks and Spore Crawlers, and I think he'll be good. And he just got all of his Overlords just absolutely destroyed. And that's, again, not what he wanted. He just got his 4th economy cleaned up by these Hellions, which leaves him losing 13 drones to his opponent's 7. And yeah, this is not good. Not good at all. Yeah, no, not what he wants. Oh god. I don't even know what else to say about this situation. It's just that the Zerg is screwed. He needed these at least the ranged upgrades sooner. If he was going to keep going for the melee upgrades, I still think he should have gone for Ultralisks, or at least opened up the Ultralisk tech tree as a path he could have taken, just in case stuff went really bad with that first attack. I think while he was getting his Greater Spire, he should have at the same time been going for an Ultralisk Cavern, because now these Thors are here, but they're backed up by, 10 siege tanks, and these siege tanks, and even though roaches are, again, very good against siege tanks, they're just not good enough. We have karMAzasz leaving the game, as this queen strikes quite an epic pose. So anyway, guys, you can send in any games you want commentated into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. I'm, rapidly approaching the head of my list again, so I could use some reloads from you people for games that I can commentate, and again, try to make sure that they are on maps that are currently in the map pool, which hasn't really been an issue before, but it's becoming an issue. and make sure I can open up the nameplates in the replay, because some replays are so old that they don't have these observer shortcuts. They don't have nameplates or name panels or minerals or army supply or workers killed or APM, so I can't do any of this fancy stuff with you know, I can't do it. It's just not as fun for me, at least. So again, just make sure they're at least that up to date. I think that's like season 2. So as long as there's season 2 replays on maps that are currently in the map pool, which there are definitely a couple that are still in the map pool from season 2, I'm fine with commentating them. And again, head over to Battle.net, my Battle.net thread, which will be in the description for this video, and post any of your support there. It's always nice to get that bumped up to the front page of the Blizzard site, because it always drags in, you know, a couple more views and just a couple more people to watch the channel. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous signing out.